Hello, welcome to One's the Force of Stars podcast. Mine's Phil, of course, and welcome back to the show. I'm joined, as usual, by Dave and George. Good evening, gentlemen.
Hello there.
Good evening.
You're confused about having the thumbnail right at the bottom of the overlays, Dave. I was like, where the hell is it? You put it right down the bottom. I had to turn it off. Oh, dear.
I know. I try to confuse you and keep you on your toes. That's all I'm doing.
Well, obviously, I'm not that awake. Well, what's new there, then? Anyway, this was supposed to be a slow news week, but luckily, today we've had a few bits kind of drip and drab in to make it actually fill the show. So we've actually got a fair amount to talk about. First thing was just crash it. You might as well crack on with it, because what's second we really want to get to, so let's just dive straight in the first part. The first part is the new Disney Gallery, the Mandalorian show that will be beginning on May the 4th. So it's 8 episodes total. It's going to air weekly. It's hosted by Jon Favreau, and it's going to be, first airs on the Monday, then it's going to air Friday after that, and then it's just covering all the behind the scenes on gloriousness that is the Mandalorian. So all the behind the scenes photos we've seen, all those gigantic sets with the screens on the outside and things, we get to see that for each episode. I cannot wait.
I'm very excited with this because they have kept this so hidden up their sleeves. There was not ever a rumor. There was nothing about anything being released from Mandalorian except the series, and then literally press release 2 p.m. in the afternoon, slap on the dot, introducing Disney Gallery. I'm assuming this is going to be a new series for all major Disney Plus releases. I can imagine Marvel getting these, obviously probably Kenobi. Don't think like Pixar stuff would, but maybe some of the sort of TV exclusives they do and whatnot. So this is clearly a new Disney series, and they're obviously starting off with the biggest selling point of their streaming service. And fair play to them for waiting for Europe to get it, because they said, this will air 3 days after it finishes airing across Europe. And obviously
May the 4th.
Yeah, get it on May the 4th. So we're going to have 2 new things on May the 4th. Which is going to be really annoying, because I'm going to be working. I start work at 8 in the morning, which is when everything gets released on Disney Plus at bang on 8 in the morning. So you have to hold off until lunchtime. But no, this is going to be really interesting, because it does look like it's going to be an actual behind the scenes, but done as a documentary series, which I'm very, very intrigued by, because they haven't said how far they're covering it. They've mentioned going into sort of George Lucas's world, the interviews and stuff, but we don't know how far back this goes. And I've not seen the Skywalker documentary, because I don't have the Blu-ray yet. I know a lot of people have seen it in the States and people have seen it online. And I'm waiting for that. I believe that could lock production. You've got the classic Direction of the Jedi from The Last Jedi, where Rian Johnson has the documentary rolling from day one of writing a script, which is one of my favorite ever behind the scenes. Not as good as the episode 1 behind the scenes, where you famously have the first viewing of Rick McCallum's face when he realizes, I'm not going to say the word monstrosity because I love it, but there is a moment in that, it's on Star Wars YouTube for anyone that's never seen it. There's a moment when they all kind of realize that they may have done a bit much, and that's George Lucas's words, not my own. So Star Wars has a rich history of behind-the-scenes documentaries.
It does, and everyone knows Empire of Dreams, which is just a fantastic documentary. If you haven't seen it, after you've watched this show, I implore you to go and watch it. It is one of the best documentaries you'll ever see.
And it's on Disney Plus, which I didn't expect to get added to Disney Plus too.
Yes, it is, yeah. I'm glad they put it on there. I mean, I think it's on the Saga Blu-ray collection as well. I don't know if it's on the new Blu-ray collection, but definitely something to watch out for, though, is this Gallery upcoming series. And if they do it for every Marvel show, then I'm perfectly fine with that on Disney Plus. If it's just for Star Wars, then again, I'm fine with that. But I'd be interested to see if they do it for things like Loki and a couple of other shows I've got coming up. I can't remember off the top of my head. Yeah, WandaVision, things like that. So that'd be kind of cool to see. The next bit of news we have is... we're going to crack into this one. They've released a trailer for the Siege of Mandalore for the last 4 episodes of Season 7 of Clone Wars. And we actually have it to show you guys, and we're going to talk about it afterwards, but for now, just sit back, relax, maybe turn the volume down in case it's a little loud, but just enjoy.
They've been waiting to see you. Loyalty means everything to the clones. Surely, you have felt it. The dark side. has never been stronger. Every choice you have made has led you to this moment.
It's a little bit good.
what can you say? I mean, we've been waiting for this since we got the announcement of Clone Wars coming back. This is where the main interest lay, and after watching the first 2 4-parters, this is still where the majority of the interest lies. I would have loved this to have been more of it, but my word, it looks... That is episode 3 in all its form, really, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm really excited for this. This trailer came out of nowhere. I wouldn't normally watch it, and I was kind of hoping that are they going to do the Clone Wars logo in the red font? I know they did it when Maul first came back, and they've done special colors at special moments. I was like, please do it, and this trailer kind of certified that I'm ready. We spoke so many times about how good the production values become, the quality of the animation across this season, not just this episode, but that we haven't really had the war aspect, bar the first episode as a whole, Bad Batch, the intro. We've not actually had the war angle of it, which is no issue. But to see that and knowing we're going to get 4 episodes arc, and Sam Witwer has been very vocal on Twitter today. He said he saw the first 3 episodes of The Siege of Mandalore, and he says the best thing he's ever done as Maul. And he's got a fair few things he can say was the best thing he ever did too. I'm very excited. That trailer was very good. And that was can I also say, a test of a new system where we can play videos, which we didn't know about until yesterday. So if anyone's got any feedback for that, if it was too loud, let us know. We'll try and see what we can do. But that was very last minute. We just got that added on. So I'm happy that worked on our end.
Yeah, I mean, this is a family-friendly show, so I'm going to try and restrain my language as much as possible, which means I'm going to basically be silent because it elicits so much emotion in me. I cannot wait for these 4 episodes. It is sad that it's coming to an end, but if it's going to end on a note like that, then you can't complain. It just looks phenomenal, and it's no detriment to Resistance here, but you can definitely see where the money has been funneled to. It really, you can tell, it's just so good.
The only thing I'm kind of sad about is that this is not just one episode, just one, all put together, one episode finale, like movie length finale, put out as that. Having to break this up into 4 episodes and wait each week is going to be an absolute killer.
I know.
Yeah,
but it's going to be good though. It's one of those things. At least we are getting it. At least we are getting 80 minutes of it. At least it's not just one episode of 60 minutes or something. We do get a fair chunk by the end of it.
I was hoping that they would be like, why didn't you guys take a 3-week break and then we'll just release 4 together? I would have waited for that, but obviously that's not how it works, and that's not how it's ever going to work. But it is going to be a moment on Friday when we can sit down and get excited and then realise we've still got 3 more weeks to go.
I think if they were going to do that, they would have not broken it up. They would have released an 80-minute movie basically to end it on. If they were going to release it all in one day, I think they would have taken it as, here you go, here's an 80-minute chunk of a story, which may end up being how you view it at the end of it. I know a lot of these Clone Wars arcs, you do view them as 4-episode chunks or 3-episode chunks back in the earlier days. But this one's definitely, I think, going to be of that ilk. If they were going to release it as a movie, I think they'll release it in one go. But I'm happy. Yeah, I'm just happy we're getting it. It's going to be a cracking note to end the season. A season that has had its ups and downs, but definitely I think it's been worth the wait in most aspects. The next bit of news, again, connected to that, Ashley Eckstein is saying that the Siege of Mandalore will be essential to the entire Skywalker saga, not just the Clone Wars. And I'm really intrigued to see what she means by this.
It was a story I saw online. Now, before we came online, we obviously like to, before our shows, pick up the stories and where we got them from, so I've got some kind of source. I've searched for this story, and I, for the life of me, cannot find it again. But I've read it, and so to be honest, I'm not sure if I saw it on Twitter or somewhere like that, but I can't find the story from life. But yeah, she said in an interview apparently that it's not just going to be the Siege of Mandalore; it's going to have an overriding effect on the Skywalker saga itself. So whether she's just kind of, she's there to sell this show to people, she's obviously there to big up the story and what's about to happen, and whether it's just because it leads to Anakin's fall a little more because he's leaving Ahsoka again, and who knows if that's what it is. But I'm just can't wait. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing Ashley kind of get the Clone Wars ending that she wanted rather than the Series 5, where our story wasn't really finished when we left her.
Yeah, so I've been able to re-find the article. It was on a podcast she did with Comic Book Nation. They had an interview with this week, and she put, I've been reading a lot of people's comments, and everyone wants to make the jump to Siege of Mandalore. We've been waiting for this ever since Clone Wars was cancelled into Season 5. Because of Rebels, we knew Ahsoka lived, we had these questions, blah, 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 blah. But she says this will be a major pivotal moment in the Skywalker as a whole. You need the Siege of Mandalore to understand everything that happens in the Skywalker saga. It's incredible. That's someone that knows more than we do. And that is someone that I don't think would be saying that if there wasn't any reason to say it. That's a wild accusation to make. It just makes me more excited.
Yeah, I mean, I can't wait for it. I mean, it's one of those things of this show, when it was announced it was coming back, what was it? Celebration 2018? It
was San Diego, wasn't it? It wasn't even...
it was San Diego, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, because it took the break off for the year, didn't they? Yes, so, yeah, SDCC 2018. We've been waiting, and this is obviously the moment we've been waiting for. We've been speculating as the season's gone on, how long it will be. We wanted 6 episodes or 8 episodes compared to what we had. We knew we'd get Bad Batch. We've been speculating, and now it's finally here. And of course, the other bit of news to go along with it, they've actually put the finale on Monday, May the 4th as well, which, again, Star Wars Day, I see what you did there, Disney, and I like it. Does also mean that we'll have the episode 3 on the Friday and episode 4 on the Monday.
That's what I'm excited for. I really want May the 4th of work now because I kind of want it off every year. But this year I've got 2 new Star Wars things to watch. Yeah. Don't want to be working. I'm very excited. I think it's nice that, okay, I get they know that week's important, but fair play to them for, it's May the 4th. We've got a lot of shows airing, and it makes me wonder if this was part of an overarching plan.
Potentially. I do think, though, that Disney Plus will be key going forward for Star Wars moments on May the 4th.
Oh, yeah, of course. No, I completely understand that. I think they will. They'd be naive not to, but I think when they launched it in Europe and then we had that announcement of it's great news, it's coming early, albeit 1 week early, I wonder if there were spanners twisting like, well, we look at 7 weeks of The Mandalorian, it's going to finish on May the 4th weekend. Look at when the Clone Wars overlap's going to start, it's going to be on Mandalorian. Well, it could have been, May the 4th as well. So I feel that it's either a very nice coincidence or it's Disney were planning this all along. And it just means that...
I think planning. It's Disney. They don't do it.
Yeah, that's fine. It's a very Star Wars thing to release on May the 4th. Seeing as this year we're not really getting a lot of Star Wars content. Obviously, we're going to get Mandalorian Season 2 we know about, but Clone Wars is the big thing until that. Lego Star Wars we'll discuss a little bit later on. Mm-hmm. But we're in this mode where it's going to be a quiet year. There's nothing wrong with that. We've had many quiet years talking Star Wars. Some people a lot longer than others. Dave, I'm not going to point the fingers, but you've sort of discussed the
drought.
And it's what so many people say. Like, I know we're in this era now of obviously coronavirus. We'll be telling our kids in 30 years' time that remember this was our sort of what we went through. And it's kind of, I get a lot of Star Wars people, obviously like people a lot older than me on podcasts, a lot of people older than Dave as well, so I'm not going to make any comments there. And they'll be like, there was nothing. And they'll say there was just absolutely nothing. And they're in their, not just their 20s, but this is getting from episode 6 to episode 1 that, and to an angle, I still think we 3 are quite young for a group of Star Wars fans. There are people in their 70s that go to these conventions. There are people in their 60s. There are the parents of the parents. It's a generational thing, and that's what I always said. I maybe didn't really know which episode 3, episode 7. I know this is a little bit of tangent, but when episode 7 came out, you had the original trilogy generation. You had the parents of the original trilogy generation that took all their kids to them films. Then you've got the not so much special edition, but you've got the kind of gap. Yeah.
Hey,
yeah, I mean, there's like a gap. There's like a generation that wasn't out, that was after 6 but before 1. Then you've got my lot, the prequel generation, and then now we've got a new generation. So that was like 5 generations of fans that episode 7 appealed to, which is just something I've never seen before. I know it's nothing to do with this, but it's Star Wars fans can go through droughts, and we've got a lot of new things to talk about. Some of them on this, we've got content coming we've got many live action TV shows to talk about, as well as books, new eras, new everything. So although Star Wars is quiet now, it's not going to be as quiet as it ever was.
Yeah, my old man, as I always said, I've said the story on the channel before, took me to see the special editions in '97 when I was 6, but my man was 18 when Star Wars came out in '77, so he saw them for the originals, and of course took me for the special editions before the prequels were. I think we've seen every single cinematic release together, bar the Clone Wars film, because I went to see that by myself because he wasn't particularly interested in an animated film, but that's fair enough. And of course I wish they'd done the Siege of Mandalore for a film instead of what the Clone Wars film we actually got, but that's by the by. They've done much better since then. However, yes, I know what you mean, and I think Disney Plus is a great way for them to be doing content for that in the future, as well as books and comics and bits and pieces as well. I do wonder what we were going to get into of the books and comics on May the 4th, since all May releases are cancelled. So we'll see. But yes, it's very interesting what Ashley Eckstein said, and I do wonder what it's going to mean going forward. The next bit of news is something we have talked about before on the show, which was the Rosario Dawson kind of being cast as Ahsoka. There was no official announcement, but it was as official as you're going to get with the leaks kind of thing we had. And she's also come out now and said it on as an interview somewhere, or as a podcast. I can't remember. Dave, I think you're the one who put something.
I know George had put this in that she's actually mentioned that it's not been officially announced, but apparently she said that she can't wait for it to be announced. Yeah,
it's probably the stupidest. I mean, not in the nasty way. It's like, are you Ahsoka? No, but I can't wait for them to say I am. Like, it's been an interview this week. It's kind of the how in Star Wars they just tell them don't say anything, just say you can't talk about it. But this one was it's not confirmed yet, but I will be happy when it is. Like, we know you've already done it. I don't think they're going to cut your cameo. Like, no, I think it is going to be a cameo as well. I know we've sort of discussed that a lot, or an extended role for one episode. But yeah, I just thought it was really random. It was a really random news article to read that came out. It's from an interview. I'm not sure who the interview was with. There's been a lot of podcast interviews last few weeks. I know a lot of these actors and actresses are obviously jumping on them. They're at home. You've got some really good YouTube channels. I think John Krasinski's on the best one. Quite good news. There's a lot of people doing it online. So, now's the chance. Let's just start spamming emails and seeing who we can get to appear on here. This is the moment where I start emailing Adam Driver every day. Not really. I'll get banned. But no. Yeah.
You want your photo of him in the car signed, damn it.
I just need a photo with him, and next time I will not be scared to ask.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure. But yeah, no, we do need to spam some people. We need to get some interviews on here. Everyone in the audience out there needs to help us grow. I mean, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Ones of the Force Star Wars Podcast, at the Force Podcast, and you can just help us grow from there. Next bit of news we are going to talk about is the Fennec Shand is rumored to now be returning in Mando Season 2. It wouldn't surprise me if she did, because I was very disappointed with how they handled her in Season 1.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same vein. I was disappointed with how they handled her. I'm not too sure about her coming back to life, seeing as that, to me, she was dead. And it was nightfall when, hopefully not Boba Fett, was the person that went to collect her.
Cad Bane.
I'm hoping for Cad Bane, but I unfortunately are now leaning into I'm convinced it's the Boba Fett fan theory, which I hope it's not. I really want to be wrong. But if I just set myself up with that mindset for the next 8 months...
I want it to be Cad Bane, but I'll settle for Dengar. Okay, I'm not having Boba Fett.
it's the boots. It's the boots. As long as there's not that Han Solo ripoff coming back to life, where we can all agree we're all safe.
God, not that at all.
I'm intrigued. It's a really nice plot point of Mandalorian Season 2. Obviously, we know there's going to be an overarching plot. We're going to get the Darksaber. We're going to get Moff Gideon, but we're still going to have a couple of loose ends, and hopefully this one is done with a little bit differently to what we had, because it did feel that they did hype up Ming-Na Wen's rollout, and it didn't really deliver. It was a humongous deal. This is the voice of Mulan. She's been in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. She's one of the Disney Hall of Famers or whatever they call it. And there's 2 scenes and she's gone. I was like, oh,
That's all
not what anyone thought.
all she wants to be is be in Star Wars. And now she's finally in Star Wars, and
Yeah, and even Bill Burr's made it back to season 2, so why not?
Well, I kind of liked his character, but Ming-Na Wen's character, Fennec Shan, was definitely wasted. And if she is back, even if it's in a flashback form, I'd be happy as long as they just treat her a bit better than how she was.
Definitely.
Yep.
So, another bit of Mando news. This is sad news confirmed via Instagram Live. Then known as the legend that is Taika Waititi. Obviously directed many films, including Thor Ragnarok, What We Do in the Shadows, many others. He obviously directed the finale of Mandalorian Season 2 and played the voice role of IG. I'm so confused now. Yeah, when you said 88 for so many years, and now you're saying 11.
Yeah.
I'm actually trying to figure out which one's the right one. But he did a live stream of Thor Ragnarok where he just watched the film with all the fans, kept bringing on people like Mark Ruffalo. Fortunately, it was at like 2 a.m. in the UK, so I'd have loved. Don't really do sort of commentaries, but I would have done anything to watch that. And someone asked him in the comments, "Are you doing Mandalorian season 2?" And he said, "Unfortunately, he's not directing episodes. He's filmed his new film that's coming out. It's about football, bit different, and he was filming, I think, on location in either like South Africa or in New Zealand, so he was nowhere near LA to film season 2, which is a shame. I feel that the Mandalorian directing chairs we know they brought Bryce Dallas Howard back. We know that Dave Filoni's back. We know that Favreau is actually doing it this time. I feel as if they're not close circle. I think they want new people in, but I can imagine they'd like to bring back.
Robert Rodriguez has done one as well.
Yeah, this is the thing. So I can imagine them bringing in more people, but I mean, Taika is an Oscar winner now. Jojo Rabbit is phenomenal.
I still get to see that, but I do really want to watch it.
He's technically a Disney film, which makes it even more amazing now. But yeah, I didn't think he'd come back for season 2. Being completely honest, I thought he was far too big to direct an episode in season 1, and that was before Jojo. So I'm very excited anyway. He's a cool dude. Check out his Instagram. But no,
his Instagram's great. If you haven't seen it, do go see it. It's brilliant.
At some point, they do need to make a formal announcement, though. They need to formally say, these are the 8 directors. Or
I think it'll be on May the 4th.
I could see something. I think May the 4th could be a big day for Star Wars.
They seem to be now starting to line up a lot of news to come out around then, or things to come out around then.
Well,
being polite, I didn't put Celebration on the schedule.
I was about to mention that, yeah.
So the mayor of California, or the governor of California, has basically come out and said they haven't officially ruled it all out, but they said we will not be having, as it stands, any mass gatherings until September. So they haven't officially said no Celebration, no San Diego, but the governor's kind of said we're going to address this in a few weeks, but it's looking like we're not going to have any gatherings, and that's one thing coming in.
It's a smart thing to do, though. It really is a smart thing.
It's not a smart thing. It's common sense now. There's a pandemic going around the world, and I'm going to be completely honest. I think Reed Pop should have cancelled it by now. I'm sure. Obviously, it's not something you can just do at the click of a finger. I'm guessing that I reckon they will postpone it, but I'm guessing they'll get a venue secured first. They'll get a date. So they'll say, it's not happening now, but we're moving everything to this place. As long as anything's stupid and say it's going to be October, I'm personally going to bet if they do move Celebration, I think it's going to be April 2021 because D23's got the August weekend. They ain't going to move D23 for anyone. So that kind of ties in a little bit with that, I guess I can say. But I don't think they're going to, if they do some news on May the 4th, I'm hoping May the 5th you don't wake up to Star Wars Celebration has been cancelled. I think they're obviously going to plan for something to happen first, because also we kind of discussed this, and we'll get to Kenobi and stuff a bit later, but a year ago, I said this to you guys on Facebook Live, that a year ago you had, for a year's time, what's going to be there in August 2021, or 2020, sorry, you had, okay, there'll be Kenobi, there'll be Cassian, there'll be Mandalorian Season 2, there'll be these future films. Obviously, Cassian, we know, has been delayed, is now on indefinite hold due to obviously scheduling. No one's filming, the industry shut down. Kenobi got pushed back to January, which is absolutely fine. We knew that way before this kicked off. Mandalorian, we know, is wrapped, so that is going to be the big news thing. films have gone very, very quiet. I know Disney's pushed back 3 years worth of films. They've not said anything. They've kept Star Wars in that release slot window, but we were told in October, famous article, the Star Wars director will be confirmed by the end of January. We're now in April.
Yeah.
Again, I'd rather they didn't make a rash announcement, like they did with many of the directors who have unfortunately not made it to filming, let alone the end of filming. Is one way of putting it nicely.
Yep.
But so they're in a position where, you know what, all of it aside, Celebration is not as important this year as it will be last year or would be next year.
My personal feeling is they'll say in the next couple of weeks that Celebration has been cancelled, but keep your eyes peeled for May the 4th. And on May the 4th, and potentially May the 5th as well, they'll just spam us with announcements on a kind of a big Star Wars day. That's
May the 4th was
feeling.
going to be a bank holiday over here. They did change it this year, rightfully so, for VE Day. But I was really looking forward to actually having the bank holiday on May the 4th for the first ever time. But it's not to be. I might just take the Death Hike instead.
Yeah. And from Disney Plus kind of news to Disney news, and we have the Emperor returning. George, I'm going to let you do this one because your excellent meme you put in the chat. I'm going to let you take this one.
This is a day long remembered. Our beloved Bob Iger, the savior of Disney. I'm going to rightfully say that when he took over mid-noughties, Disney hadn't really done anything. They didn't even own Pixar at this point. They just kept keeping their name via Pixar. He's obviously built Disney up. He bought Star Wars, he bought Marvel, he bought Pixar, he bought 20th Century Fox. He created Disney Plus. I think his intention was leaving for that to be his legacy. Perfect time to go. He's done all this for them. He set all this up, sort of, have my farewell wave and out the window. Obviously, we know that he took on a reduced role. He stepped down. They put in the new CEO. He said, I'll create a new role to help you out for a year and a half, and then I'll go with my contract. And obviously, no one expected this current pandemic. Now, I've lost the article. So right now, obviously, it's not. I'm not really upset because it's more important things than that. But Disney are losing either $5 million or $50 million a day. This is due to everything from production shutdowns to Disneyland being shut. Everything. I think
it's equivalent of $50 a day they're losing currently, something around that. Doesn't seem like a massive number, but it is quite a lot over.
Over how? I mean, yeah.
Really, still a lot of money.
This could be 3 months, 6 months. We don't know how long, but they've kind of reappointed because there's the same report had a bit of, obviously we don't really do gossip and we're not really we're a Star Wars thing, so it's not really our forte, but the new obviously CEO was also called Bob, but apparently there's a bit of Disney infrastructure issues where they refer to the new Bob as Bobby, whereas Bob Iger is still just Bob, which is, I don't know, we're calling it Bobgate or something, but apparently when all this kicked off, the new CEO didn't make a single press release, didn't have a single statement, just kept purely silent, which I'm going to assume is very worrying for shareholders, for the business minds and whatnot. Whereas Bob Iger was publicly saying, I'm not taking a salary, I don't need it, this can help the company, we're going to do this to our staff. So it seemed that Bob Iger was just doing all the press, and then now it's come out that they've just given him the old rollback as CEO. But the more important thing is that they've said that he's there to help rebuild the company after. Without getting into them, obviously we don't know if it's going to be a new world after. I think things are going to change, and Disney are very, I'm guessing, think on the same level. So I think they're going to wait to see I reckon he could stay another 2-3 years now in that CEO role, and he'll be there to guide them through after when obviously this dark time has kind of finished. And to be fair to the new CEO taking over maybe the biggest company in the world, I would say it's in the top 3 to 5, surely. And then have this pandemic come through, that's going to be tough for any CEO to walk through, let alone an actual new one. So I can understand this from a business standpoint, but from a personal standpoint, I really like Bob Iger. I've never really cared for CEOs. It's not been my forte. But whenever the guy does interviews, I want to listen to them. He seems like he knows what he's doing. He seems genuine. Yes, we know he's probably got a side to him. They all do, but you won't be that successful if you're not. But it's the guy that took the fall for solo. This is my fault. I wanted the May release date. It didn't work out. That's on me. That's the CEO taking that hit straight away. Got a lot of respect for him, and I'm actually more confident with him at the helm than the person they had to replace him. So maybe there's a bit of good news amongst this. I don't know. This is pure speculation, but I really like Bob Iger. I'm going to buy his book and read it because I've got a lot of spare time and I've got a lot of books to get through, including Master and Apprentice, which I've had for a year now, and I've still not read it.
Yeah, my to read pile is pretty horrific.
It's kind of a strange world that we're going to come out of eventually. We're going to find this new day when things are going to get back to normal, but it will be not normal for quite some time, even after restrictions are lifted. So, yeah, you need someone strong who's been at the head of that company to kind of just ease it out, because that's what it's going to be. You can't just go, right, this is done. This virus is not going to go away just like, oh, it's gone now. It's always going to linger. So you've got to be very cautious when they start bringing things back. And it will be drip fed to us. We'll get little bits and pieces here. Like, they're not going to be able to open the box and just go, yes, we're back open. Like, so it is a really important role, and I'm really glad Iger's back to take that role as well.
Yeah, indeed. I'm glad as well. But we're going to move swiftly on from that back to Disney Plus news. So actually, I should have done this the other way around and rejigged it. So Disney Plus has now surpassed 50 million worldwide subscribers. I think it's released in all territories now, isn't it? Or is it just a few left?
There's like one or two, like Brazil, where it's not really.
I think Sweden's also hasn't been released in yet.
Yeah, it's had its main Europe release now, which we all got last month. Obviously, it had most of its North America stuff. So I'm just going to go out on a bet and say it's probably out in 80% of the markets. I think they were aiming for that November window, and then it was the March window. And I'm guessing then it's just going to be each country individually at some point or another. But 50 million subscribers. I mean, considering about a month ago in their big meeting when they had on Skype, which was really boring to listen to, but it was intriguing to listen to, they said they had 27 million subscribers just domestically in America. So this European launch has done very well for them.
It's effectively,
yeah. I mean, if you think about it, that's 50 million people paying £6 a month, and that's subscribers. That's not households as well. That's not people. There are 5 people in my house watching Disney Plus on my account. That's like what 3. What is it?
It's enough to help them in this need. They need this.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to say they can have their.
Do you think they're a little bit devastated that they went at the lower price point to get more people in right now? Like, oh, we should have done like $8.99, $9.99.
No, I think they've got enough capital to not worry about that.
I think pricing wise, Disney still, to me, I don't know how much. I have Amazon Prime anyway, so I wouldn't pay for their Prime Video. I think it's like what, £9 a month. I think Netflix is squashed because they have a pricing structure of the £6, the £9, the £12.
Yeah,
and the fact that no other streaming company does that just makes Netflix look really bad still.
Yeah, I mean, I've got all 3. I mean, I nicked my mum's Amazon Prime for the video, and I've got Disney Plus and Netflix, so I've got access to all 3. And yeah, it is a rather silly notion to go, cool, we are limiting you by price to how many screens you can watch and how many. It is not.
It's the whole pay £12 for 4K. It's like, well, it's £6 on Disney Plus. Granted, they've cut off people that can watch in 4K in Europe at the minute, but they're still charging people the full 4K package at £12, including myself, which is not on my bank card anymore, it's on my sister's, because we made a trade deal and I pay for Disney Plus. But anyway, no, it's interesting. We knew they'd have high numbers, and I can only imagine when these new seasons start coming out, they'll spike. Obviously, naturally, people will cancel when the season's been and gone, but I can imagine a bit of a spike when, what's the first, Winter Soldier, that will go up a bit. Mandalorian Season 2 will go up a bit. There'll be a lot. I'd be very intrigued for a breakdown of UK people, because I know a lot of people that just chose not to subscribe because they already watched The Mandalorian. We don't condone piracy. No, I think I phrased that wrong. We don't agree with it. But it's understandable if someone's waited 5 months. Why would they pay £6 when it's been online for 5 months?
Going forward, everything's been fine with that. At least now the Clone Wars has caught up. But I do wonder if that also had a little bit of effect as well, where they didn't release it on day one.
I don't think Clone Wars will have an effect on the mass market, because most people I know were watching it from the beginning now, which is fair play to them. Pretty cool. I love the menu. It's a lot better than the silly chronological download order I had to do, which was a lot of effort, a lot easier than swapping discs on the Blu-ray too.
That was a pain, yes.
But no, it's Disney Plus. It's going to be intriguing because, like I said, they've dropped this Mandalorian show out of nowhere, and we don't know what other shows they've got in the pipeline. I'm not saying there's going to be, here's a new animated Star Wars series starting in 2 weeks' time, but they announced a new series last week called it's about props, where they're going to go through like a film, and they're going to do a documentary each week, and they've got all the props from this film. They're going to go through the Disney archives as such. So I think there's a lot of content which Disney is starting to pipe up now, and maybe they have been waiting for Europe to get some of these new series. Like they've definitely said in the press statement, we've waited for the European territories to release this Mandalorian documentary. So I'm intrigued, and I think, I mean, we know it's here to stay. I've still got my sort of bet on that. I think they could take out Netflix in the next 3 years. However, everyone's on streaming services now. Everyone's at home, so I'm guessing that will give everyone a bit of extra life.
We're in kind of a golden age of television at the minute again. So you've hit where now it's not having to be big budget, not having to go in the movie. Now you'll see big actors now going to a Netflix show or doing a Netflix movie. I think The Rock's doing like a Netflix movie just as one of his next, I think his next project he was doing was made for Netflix, which is crazy when you think you can get these big stars who now go to a streaming service when it would never have happened.
Like Henry Cavill
3, 4, 5 years ago.
You've got Irishman, not to get film-wise, but the new Scorsese film, his next one, it was going to cost $200 million. Paramount have just dropped out of last week, and that's going to go straight to Netflix, because why wouldn't you want to back a film with Leonardo DiCaprio and Robert De Niro and Martin Scorsese in? And that's still filming scheduled, so you know they've got the money to spend, and like you said, it's a golden era. They've got the money to pick this stuff up. Granted, Netflix were massively in debt, and this isn't the podcast talk about Netflix's finances, but if Disney Plus play their cards right, I think with obviously the cinema shutdowns, Bob Iger's already moved one film. I think Artemis Fowl to Disney Plus. He's released Onward early in America. Frozen 2's out early. I'm guessing Skywalker will come out in America in the next few weeks. I reckon there's going to be a couple of other films, and he said it as well. He said that any films we can't get a window for, I'm probably going to put them on Disney Plus. Again, that's something he said when he's not the CEO, which says even more over the last few weeks that he's probably actually been back in control for probably a month now, I reckon. But I don't think we're going to get any new big Star Wars. Well, there's no Star Wars releases coming out, so I don't think you have to worry about.
No, but we might as well wrap up the Disney Plus news though by talking about the fact that J.B. Harold has now taken over as writer for Kenobi, and in a French press release they confirmed it as 2022 now as well.
Yeah, so the French press release, when they got Disney Plus like us, all the press was sent like a press kit, and they had when in end of December they said 2020 on Disney Plus, and it had like sort of like little clips. They've just put it in writing. This is what's coming each year, but they put Cassie into 2021. This is release, not filming, and Kenobi to 2022. I mean, for Kenobi to start filming in quote the new year of 2021, it makes sense for it to come out in 2022, probably earlier 2022. Filming is not going to take a week or two. It's going to be quite a while. Cassian makes sense, but that's fine with me. It means we're getting Star Wars in 2022. It makes us wait a little bit longer. But it's Ewan McGregor playing Obi-Wan Kenobi. My only worry is this writer. I'm not going to sit here and say stuff about the films he's done. He has 2 exceptional credits as an executive producer, and he has 2 abysmal credits as a writer. I don't think I've ever seen that before from someone that's done so few films. I don't know to what content he wrote the film. Did he write it from scratch and take it to the end? Did he do a rewrite and get a writer's credit? I don't know. We don't know how much did the producers. Did he just put money in, or was he on set every day helping out the script? I also don't know, but it's such a juxtaposition where I'm nervous. I have faith in them to get this right, and if he gets it right, that is absolutely great. But at the same time, you cannot not be worried so slightly.
I have faith because it's at the end of the day it's Disney and Ewan McGregor. I have faith.
That's the thing. I've got faith because I don't think Ewan McGregor would have tucked this. I mean, he said the episodes were written months ago, so I think this is just going to be a rewrite.
It's like a polish, just like a look over what can be cut out, what MacGuffin doesn't need to be there, what is the strong part, is there any that needs just lines, spruced up, things like that. Yeah. And I can't see with the story group that are still in Lucasfilm that anything would get past the level of quality that they've had on Mandalorian. Exactly. There has to be the bar. It has to be for the next show that drop out. It can't be, Mandalorian was way better than that, because that's just going to eradicate all the good.
They
thing
can't
that's
have every
already got for the
episode
show.
of Kenobi being the gunslinger. They can't have that for every single bloody one. That would just be awful. We don't need that.
And also it's pre-established character. We know ultimately a storyline. We don't know the story that it's going to tell, but we know, he is on, as the series will begin, he is on Tatooine. He is watching over Luke in theory. We know it's a few years after episode 3, so we know the basis that, yes, the Jedi Order is wiped out. Mandalorian, we knew nothing. We knew it was set 5 years after episode 6, and he was a bounty hunter. We don't know about Baby Yoda, and that's the main story of the film. Series.
Yeah.
Oh, we don't know anything about Obi-Wan yet, so I've
So
got
I must admit, it's what I always find hilarious when I see these articles of going, well, can they bring Maul back? And they'll go, no, just watch Rebels and you'll see see why not. It still makes me laugh, though. We're going to move on to the final bit of news, and I'm going to be honest here, I actually haven't seen the clip yet, but I know of it, and I know the backlash. Well, I know it's been what was addressed. There's Daisy Ridley addressing the backlash on the Rise of Skywalker on a Dragcast podcast. We're not going to be quoting it entirely, I know, because it has been misquoted everywhere, but I have seen. And she's, there's a problem. She's right to be upset with how it was received. It was yes, okay, people can have their opinions, but the amount of death threats and the amount of backlash that came out of this film was just horrific. I mean, we talked in this show early in the year about Adam Driver and his wife, especially, getting threats, and poor them. They're a family. At the end of the day, they are people. The characters are characters, but at the end of the day, the actors who are playing them are people like you and me. They don't deserve this.
Yeah, she didn't really. I mean, so I don't watch RuPaul's Drag Race, but she was like a guest judge on that series, and they do like an official podcast like most shows. So she went on after. Obviously, I'm assuming she spoke nicely a bit about RuPaul's Drag Race. I don't watch it; my sister does. And then obviously you can't have the main character of Star Wars of the main new trilogy after a release and not talk about it. And she spoke a lot about the film. I'm not going to quote it because I haven't listened to it fully. I have seen a lot of the quotes written down. Written quotes are not the same as an audio voice. I could say something abysmal now in a really sort of childish voice, but on paper it looks like it's with full intent. So I'm not going to talk into it specifically, but I know that Daisy Ridley addressed the backlash. But by backlash, not personal abuse, it was more about the film itself. She mentioned that she watched the Skywalker documentary, how there was so much love in it. She watched it recently. She's getting emotional over it. It's worth finding it. I'm going to listen to the podcast at some point if I can get the timestamps. But I completely agree with her. And she also mentioned social media, where obviously the stories that ran years ago, she left because she was against guns, which she is. But she said that she never ever wanted social media. She's not been a social media person. She would help her career by having social media to help promote the films and whatnot. But she never wanted it. She never agreed with it. And she said that she just had enough of all it because it's not her. It's like, fair enough. If you want a private life, you have that private life. I think Adam Driver is a great person of that as well, not just to get on the Adam Driver train. He doesn't enjoy it. He famously sent Mark Hamill the video of the dog that were missing from the set. That dog was found. He asked Mark Hamill, can you please send this video out for me? But then on the other side, you've got people like John Boyega, who has spent the last sort of 2-3 weeks in quarantine going on Instagram Live every night and just calling random not even Star Wars, just calling anyone watching. He's just chatting to people for 5 minutes. And, there's different types of social media. You can use it for however you want. If someone's going to enjoy it, someone won't. That's how it always has been. So I've got massive respect to both sides. The John Boyega stuff, I was just watching it. Obviously, I was envious. And, everyone starts panicking that John Boyega's ringing them. He's just chilling at home. He doesn't need to ring them. And he's just sort of, did you like episode 9? He's not interrogating them or anything. And he's like, oh, and this lad's like, I played Battlefront 2. They're talking about Battlefront. He's talking to people what they're doing. He's a cool guy. He's a nice guy. And again, it's the same with Daisy. She's got her own way of doing stuff. And the scrutiny she's had, a very unfair scrutiny, I'll say, by certain individuals. I'm going to make a comment about another sci-fi genre. Dune is one of the biggest films coming out this year that has Oscar Isaac in. He looks incredible for some photos that released yesterday. This book from the 60s has gender switched apparently an important character from male to female. And guess what? The Dune fans are in uproar. because it's this, that, the other, the usual stuff. We've unfortunately had enough of it here, but there is no fandom that's without these people. I'm not defending it at all. It's a horrible thing that has to come with all of them. It's not just Star Wars. Star Wars is arguably the biggest one, which is why it gets that attention. But I've got a lot of respect for Daisy Ridley for coming out, talking about what she enjoys, doing what she wants to do, and just doing an honest interview, which I think is quite important for people. And also, she seems like a really nice person. She's done a really cool book for StarWars.com when she was reading kids' books. I know they've had Eunice Satami do it as well. So, people can have their opinions, but at the end of the day, she's only like 26 or 7 as well. She's not. She's like a couple of years older than me. It's a lot for someone to deal with, and the limelight they've had over this last 5 years. So a lot of respect for Daisy Ridley.
Indeed. And that wraps up the news for this evening. So we did actually, going into this show, have not a huge amount to talk about, and turns out we've actually had masses to talk about for once, which is great. We're going to move on to Star-Lords. The first bit, I'm just going to literally quickly just plug again. First episode of Star-Lords I put out the other day, last week, which was looking at the Rise of Kylo Ren. If you haven't seen that, I implore you to go back and give it a watch. Next week will be Son of Dathomir, and we're going through that because it's very apt for what's happening with the Clone Wars at the moment. But yes, we're going to move on and talk about the final Shakespeare Does Star Wars book is now out, or no, it's been announced, sorry. Ooh, Dave, you put something in the chat and moved it around the branding, damn it. Which is the Merry Rise of Skywalker. The cover's been released for it, and I have to say it does look good. I do have the first one of these. I haven't got the rest of them. I do need to pick them up at some point, but this cover does look fantastic.
I hate Shakespeare with a passion so much. I didn't like it at school, and the worst part about all of this is the company I work for, my place of work, is Stratford upon Avon, also known as Shakespeare's birthplace.
Yep.
So I have to drive through there every day when we're not in lockdown. I've got a lot of respect for these Star Wars books. I almost bought them once. I would just struggle to read them. Also, why do you need to put the word merry? It's not a merry rise, is it? It's a sad rise because Ben Solo is no longer with us, spoiler alert. But no, I mean, to be fair, they were a really cool set. Like, I love the fact that these started years ago, way before Disney bought Star Wars. And I don't think anyone expected them to carry on when they did Episode 7, but they did. And I think it's become this kind of niche within Star Wars. Now, didn't Ian McDiarmid want to do a reading at Celebration? As the
I think he actually did, yeah.
Yeah, no, these started after Disney bought Star Wars.
Oh, was after it was bought?
Yes. Yeah, the first one, Episode 4, was done 2013, I think, 2014, something like that. So it's after Disney bought the company. As far as
It's there. I mean, they are there. I mean, I'm a big Shakespeare fan. I do love Shakespeare. I'm quite the opposite of George. I have a lot of time for Shakespeare, old shaky baby. But no, although these books seem great, it's not real Shakespeare. If you try and read them, no. They are there as a comedy sort of take.
Oh, they are hilarious. If you read a comedy, they are funny as hell. Don't take them seriously.
Yes,
they are good. Next,
they are all available.
Indeed. Next, we're going to talk about, for me, I am very excited about, I know George has his ears about it, and Dave actually as well, to be fair on this one, is the new High Republic stuff that's been released. So on StarWars.com, they have announced all the Jedi Masters and Jedi Knights who are going to be seeing the series. I'm not going to go through them in detail now, but they are all up there if you want to go have a read. The first one we have is Arthur Chris. We have Lord and Greatstorm. You then have... Oh, I know, it's a great name, isn't it? They have Keeve Trennis. You then have... did I put on Keeve Trennis twice? Apparently I did. Silly me. And then you have Stellan Goyce, and I love the look of his lightsaber. It's proper Arthurian, proper crossguard. It just looks incredible as well. And then finally finished off with Venestra Vern Raw. And I can't pronounce her name for the life of me. However, she is one of the Padawans in this one actually as well. I can't wait to see these books and comics when they are finally released.
Yeah, so all I know is someone that has not listened to Dooku Jedi Lost or whatever they called it.
Yep.
Was a reference to, quote, the missing 20. And one of the people he named is one of the people... I don't know if it's one of the ones you said or one of the other ones on StarWars.com, but...
No, it's one of these ones.
There's basically been... Obviously, we know that this has been plotted for a long time, High Republic, and Rise of Scott, Rise of Kylo Ren. Sorry, there's so many rises these days. I know that they made a reference to it as well, and obviously Dooku did. So I'm guessing that they've been patiently waiting to slowly make comments here, there, and everywhere. So we may even get some Episode 9 references when someone wants to frame by frame go through Rey's book. I know that A World Between Worlds is a reference in there too.
Yeah.
So it's very intriguing. I'm still curious, and I will leave it at that at the time being. But when these do come out in August, I will be interested in reading about them more so than reading them at this moment in time. If I can't justify reading a book about Qui-Gon Jinn and Obi-Wan Kenobi, I'm very much going to struggle to read one.
To be fair, you'll get it all through me anyway, so you'll be fine.
That's what
We'll take it on by osmosis because I've got no interest at the minute.
It's what I'm here for. It's what I do. This is my role in the show. It's great. As well as doing the intro and outro, and when I can't do it, watching these two butcher it is just hilarious to me, at least anyway. But we are going to move on, and we're going to Toy Shelf and George, since you're our resident. Well, probably our resident Lego heads, but especially since George at the moment is very apt for your Twitter goings on. Do you want to talk about the new Lego releases, especially the Razor Crest?
Yeah, so I'm not saying this is an exclusive, but I was on Lego.com the other day on the Lego store, and I was just looking at the Razor Crest set. And if you look at the screen now, we can see that they finally revealed the artwork. So when this set was announced, they just had the usual Lego like this. Here's the set out of the box. Here's the characters, and here's the device thingy, which lets you take apart the pieces. But when they did the Lego website, the box art, we can see on the top right, we now have the Lego Mandalorian as the new sort of not banner artwork, but if anyone's listening audio, you're not going to get the next bit. But on my hand, I'm holding a set from last year, which is the Lego Starkiller base. See that Darth Vader is the sort of key artwork. This was the artwork until Episode 9 came out. So I'm just going to assume that Lego Mandalorian is now going to be the box art of Lego for the next year, which is cool.
How badly do we want Lego Mandalorian to be a game?
Wow. It's a good,
now you mentioned it.
I don't have the photo. This is my bad. On the back of the box, there is this tiny little sticker that says, basically, purchase this set. Inside, you will get a free code that will let you play with the Razor Crest on Lego Star Wars: The Complete Saga. So, to me, what this means, I think Lego Star Wars is coming out around the time of this set. This set is dated September 1st right now. We haven't had a formal announcement of Lego Star Wars yet. E3 has moved online, so I don't know when it's going to come out. We all thought it would have been out by now, given that they've always gone for the April-May window after the films have come out. But if it's going to be a fact that for new Lego sets, you may have to potentially... I've got no issue with this. This is going to sound worse than what it is, but if you're going to have to buy a Lego set to play with that ship in the game, I don't see that as how bad it sounds. I think this is going to be, listen, Mandalorian's not in episodes 1 to 9, so we didn't put it in. But you're going to be able to get him via this set or the ship, which I think is fair enough.
Oh no! Instead of paying for DLC that you can only use in the game, you get a Razor Crest Lego model as well. Oh no! What a shame! I think everyone will be more than happy to have that.
I think the issue is there's not going to be any Mandalorian levels. I think maybe in a couple of years they'll do a Mandalorian Lego game, I guess. But right now, I didn't expect Mandalorian. I just think that was a little bonus thing. My only worry is if they turn around and do 10 Lego sets where you need 10 codes to get 10 vehicles. If it is just going to be like one or two big ones, I don't mind that. As long as they don't mention like here's the UCS Death Star 2 coming out in September. Buy the UCS Lego Death Star so you can play with the Death Star. But anyway, it's not too big, but I felt not proud, but I kind of saw that. I was like, oh my god, does anyone know about this? And then it did break that night. I don't think I started it. I think there are other people that probably knew, but that was just something that I didn't know existed until I put it on our Twitter, and I was very proud. I'm on a Lego hype still, guys. But and the second bit is straight after we went off air last time. Lego announced a brand new Clone Wars set. This is going to be the Lego 501st Battle Pack. You get 3 new clone troopers, 4 clone troopers, 1 of a jetpack, 2 new battle droids, a nice speeder, and a mini walker. Very similar to the one I'm holding in my hand, which was released for the 20th anniversary set, which was the Kashyyyk one. basically the same thing.
Yeah,
in blue.
the ATDP. No, that's
No,
the
no idea. No idea. I only bought it to get the minifigure. That's all the Lego news for this week. I think there's going to be a lot of Lego sets coming out. I think we've had no Rise of Skywalker merchandise for the fact they've waited till this film's been and gone. I think at some point, maybe May the 4th.
It's going to be a big day for us, I think.
Hasbro dropped all the figures we spoke about last time. I think there's going to be a moment in the next few months where just a whole lot of merchandise gets announced everywhere. There'll be no more toy fairs. They'll all be cancelled. So it's all going to be press releases online, but I am ready for when they do.
Indeed. And then we're going to move on to the final kind of bit of news, which is in the games department. Although, to be fair, on a cool little bit of news for the games, they've done Galaxy of Heroes. They've just had the Galactic Legends, Kylo Ren, and Rey events, and they are absolutely abysmal, and the backlash has been horrific against EA and Capital Games for that one. But they've just dropped the Mandalorian content today, which appeases some people, but it's just the way they've done it has been horrible. So again, more backlash at EA, which
I do actually have one bit of news I haven't written down, which will take me 1 minute to say about Battlefront 2.
Go for it, yeah.
The update was due today, which I completely forgot about until I went on Twitter this afternoon. Now, Ben Walk is the community manager. He left his role 2 weeks ago. He's got a promotion at DICE to being a producer. EA did not replace him. There has been no community manager. There's always they call them community transmissions when they send out the press release the day before the update. Here's everything we're going to get. We know we're getting Scarif. We know they delayed it. But since this Ben Walker's left, there's not been a single bit of communication from EA to anybody. So this update due today obviously hasn't come out, and there is no word anywhere about where this is. There is no new community manager. There is no staff answering questions on Reddit. So at the click of a fingers, I'm not saying they've undone anything, but Battlefront overnight has turned into the same issue it was 2-3 years ago, where there was no one talking to anyone. And now they've got an overdue update of Scarif, brackets, new villain skin, which I think everyone knew was going to be Vader and Maul. So Star Wars Battlefront 2 is currently in limbo, and people do believe that this will be the final update for the game until I guess they start working on Battlefront 3 for PS5 and Xbox, whatever the new one is. So there's a little bit of Battlefront news there, and I'm very curious to see what happens next.
Indeed. And you want to talk us through the Project Maverick screenshot as well?
Yes, so Project Maverick. We know that it leaked on the PS Store. A screenshot leaked online. I've not seen said screenshot. It's very hard to track down. I think it leaked and got removed on a spot very quickly. It just confirmed the era that, unfortunately, for some reason, as they always are now, the ship seen in it was a Star Destroyer and X-Wings. This wasn't a screenshot of said game, and it's just confirmed the era being the original trilogy. Nothing wrong with that as an era. It's more just that everything we have ends up being that. So obviously, if we did have the screenshot, we wouldn't leak it, but it is somewhere on the dark web for someone to please find and let me have a look at.
Yeah, I did have a little look myself when we were talking about it. I couldn't find it either. It is one of those things. It got Thanos immediately as soon as someone saw that. I went, that no, gone. You can't have having that. But I do think that is about everything for games as well. So I think it's about everything in the schedule. Anything else you want to add, guys, before I talk about my final little bit?
Nothing.
No, you fire away, my friend.
Okay, so for those of you out there who watch the show regularly, you know I play the Star Wars X-Wing miniatures game competitively. I've played it for several years now, and again, if you're aware, I also stream it. I stream it every other Friday with 2 friends of mine on the Fast and Squadron Firecast. We've been doing that for the past year or 2 now, or year and a half now, I think it is. And since everything has gone to pot, we've moved on to something called Vassal, which is it's an online version of the games. It's a top-down view. It's all 2D. It's not the best in terms of it doesn't beat the real game. However, it's great for us. I've been playing more X-Wing now than I have been in ages because, well, we're just talking. As a lot of us can't work, so we're just playing it at home. And with everything that's going on in the UK at the moment, specifically in the UK for us at home, but around the world, everything's in a poor place. And the NHS, bless their hearts, everyone there is working as hard as they can. I mean, my mum works in the NHS, so I know how much they're doing. So in honor of that, we are still streaming games. We're now streaming them on VAS, and we have done for the last few weeks. What we're doing on this Friday from 8 a.m. UTC +1 to Saturday 8 a.m. UTC +1, we are streaming for 24 hours straight to raise money for the NHS. So I know Nick and myself will probably be on for the full 24 hours. Dom will join us at some points after he finishes work, probably through the night for a fair chunk as well, maybe Saturday morning to finish it all up. But yeah, we're going to be streaming for 24 hours straight. I'm going to put the Just Giving links on our social media, so on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. It's on my personal one as well as on the Firestorm Squadron Firecast. If you want to go and follow us on our social media and go and donate towards that, you're more than welcome to. If you want to come and watch, or if you play on Vassal and you want to come on the Firecast for the stream, just let us know. We're taking challenges from all over the world. We've got people lined up. We may have our friend Ollie Pocknell, the world champion. He might come on. We've got friends from all over Europe and the US that are going to pop on at various points as well. We're going to do the best we can to provide you with an entertaining stream for 24 hours. I mean, wrecked by the end of it, but it's all for a good cause. So if you want to pop along for that, I'll make sure to put links on our social media. So just a little kind of bit out there for everyone to go and do. A little nice note for us to end on there.
Definitely.
Absolutely. And just, yeah, as we're finishing off, and I've been fairly quiet, so just chime in before we do finish. Just for everyone out there, thank you so much for watching along. Thank you so much for the stream that you're putting on for ourselves, for the likes on Facebook, for certainly the listens on the wherever you download your podcast from. And just really a message from us all, please stay safe out there, do what you can to hopefully we'll get the end of this virus. Every day is a bit closer to the end. So, yeah, just stay safe, everybody.
Indeed. George, anything else to add?
I echo the thoughts of Dave. Stay safe, be smart, be vigilant, only go out when you need to go out, and look after those close to you.
Indeed. Stay safe, stay home, watch Star Wars and watch Wonders of the Force, and everything eventually will work its way out in the world. To anyone affected by the virus, of course, we do send out our thoughts, and hopefully you'll do the best you can. But until next time, as per usual, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at One's the Force of Stars Podcast, at the Force Podcast. You can find the video for this later on our YouTube and Facebook pages, and of course, the audio version will be available later on our Podbean, Stitcher, Spotify, and iTunes. So until next time, we've been One's the Force. May the Force of others be with you. Good night.